After a tough start on the road, the Sydney Kings almost pulled it out in Game 1 against Adelaide. In Game number 2, they...
Nah, I'm not going to do B-ball breakdown dirty like that. Welcome back to On the King's Dime. We've got another 3 things we learned video for you today. Adelaide Game 1 and Adelaide Game 2, we had a win and a loss. I want to go through some of the stuff where we bounced back in Game 2. Also want to talk about Isaac Humpheries and some of Casper Ware's offense. Had about an hour's worth of clips to bring to you. I thought I was really geeking out on it. I thought, nah, I'll condense that down to half an hour, so I've halved it for you. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. I'm not going to rabbit on too much longer. I'm recording this on the day of our first home game of the season. I'm pretty excited to go out and watch the Kings tonight. Make sure everyone likes, shares, and subscribes on Facebook and YouTube. And without further ado, we're going to just get straight into it because there's a lot here to cover. So we're going to knock it out one take, just smash the entire thing out. Before we get to Isaac Humpheries, we're going to talk more about the way we started this game. It was a solid start. I thought we looked quite good, quite cohesive. A few wrinkles we threw at Adelaide. That's a nice jumper from Casper. I'd like to see him do that a little bit more. We'll go through his offense a little bit later. But defensively, you know, we started quite well. We were running them around. The third topic I didn't mention in the intro was the need for speed. That's a nice block from Newley. The need for speed being, you know, later in that second game, we started to speed the game up, and it kind of took Adelaide out of their offense. And really, like, a few of them were blowing at the end of that game. They didn't have Sloan. As you see, that's clearly a charge there, textbook. There's some dodgy officiating in this game. That second and third quarter, and even sort of at the start of the fourth, there was a lot of no calls going around, and it kind of affected the way Humpheries was able to stay in this game. That's not a foul. That was just a clean strip, and you know, Brad Newley gets his first foul. Spoiler alert, he gets his second foul very quickly, and he has to sit, and the rotation kind of gets a little bit messed up. We see Galloway come in. This is a toss out into the corner. And have a look at this. This is the first Isaac Humpheries. You got DJ and Casper down low. Like, what is going on there? Like, DJ, I don't think DJ can do anything but other than take a charge here on this bump. And I don't like those post-entry charges. I don't like when people take charges like that. But here, all he can do basically is fall over and try and draw a charge. There's no way he's going to block that shot. There's no way he's going to get up and actually contest. And the other guy on help is Casper. And then here, pick and roll, pretty easy. And again, DJ's the one basically under the basket, pulling the ball out of the basket. You know, we needed to fix that. And here, Newley has to sit. You know, we're 3 minutes into the game. And is this a foul? You know, is it? It's pretty soft, to be honest. DJ gives a little elbow too underneath there. You know, I don't like that call. One of the things we needed to do, obviously, was make Humpheries a jump shooter. We didn't do it enough. We kind of allowed him to get down low quite well, and there's a foul there. DJ doesn't like going. He's over his right shoulder. DJ didn't have a great second game. He was quite good in this game. He kind of when he turns out over his left shoulder, he can shoot a jumper pretty well. As Jarrell kind of fails to keep Humpheries off glass, and that's a pretty good finish. Like, that's a tough finish. Hits that pretty well. And DJ fires back with a 3 here. You know, his offense, like, I would have loved to have, you know, really dissected his offense, because he had a great game. He started out this game. He was hot as Hades. Basically was running Adelaide around ragged, and he basically asked to come out. He was blowing. I got a little clip later where we see him sitting on the bench, you know, absolutely blowing. As you see, DJ kind of likes to turn, get over that right shoulder. But Humpheries was a main source of their offense, another DJ jumper. And to be honest, you know, we did some decent coverage on him. It wasn't, I would kind of rewatch this a few times, and I didn't see, you know, oh, he broke out and he absolutely destroyed us. That's just an absolute chuck from DJ there. I didn't see a super breakout performance from Humpheries. I love that jumper. I love watching that jumper. And it to be honest, see, here's where he's sitting and blowing. To be honest, what we did in the second game was kind of just be more physical and work him harder. And that was basically enough to take him out of the game. If you look at some of these clips here, we've got another entry. Here's Geordie. We're looking at, you know, physical from Geordie, but he tosses it out into the corner, and that's a 3. You know, it's nobody's fault. It's a nice move from Humpheries getting under the basket. We kind of pushed him all the way to the baseline, tossed it out for a 3. Not much you can really do about that. If you see Hunter set up in the post here, Probably should have dimed up Newley there. Newley probably would have finished that. That's kind of a clutch finish for him. And if you see here, again, so much contact. Like, that's just so much. You see Pinder here is hooking him underneath. You know, basically grabbing his arm. And as he turns, that's just a foul straight away. But he gets credited as the block. And everyone says, oh, wow, great defense from Pinder. But really, that's a foul. And I thought there was some sort of weirdness to the refereeing. Some things were letting go. And just have a look at this. Like, I kind of wanted to knock this a little bit more, but have a look at how dirty this play is. Basically stepping on his ankle. Have a look at this. And now that's a filthy play. Absolutely filthy play. Completely missed. Nobody's even said anything about that. I can take contact. I can take, guys, oh, that's, a tough piece of contact. They were going hard at each other, mano a mano, 1-on-1. But that was just a filthy play, and that just injures people. And, I thought more should have been made at that. We should play the narc and try and get that out into the sphere. That was just a filthy play. Now, a couple of buckets from Humpheries, and then that was just a dirty spin. There's not much you can do about that. Hunter, was late on the rotation, knew he couldn't get his body in there without fouling, trying not to foul. And then Humpheries on the double clutch, off glass. Man, that was a pretty filthy play. So 40 here started talking about our pace and transition and how slow it was. And it's true. We're kind of dawdling the ball up the court, not really getting into our sets. And as you see here, there's some nice ball movement. DJ back out to Casper. Casper driving it in. And Casper finally gets a foul. And that's Humpheries first. And you can kind of go, I lied. I said on the podcast that Casper never gets those calls. He got one in this game. That's good. He gets one. And then you get a charge here that's just clearly not a charge. From the front, you go, okay, yeah, maybe it's a charge. He looks like he's set. But if you look at the side angle that's coming up here, steps to his left, his feet are off the ground. And that's just a textbook blocking foul. And it contributed to, I think, a little bit of the brokenness of what was happening at the start of this game. Because our guys didn't want to foul. We're down 6 here. There's some nice full court press from Casper. It causes a turnover. I think eventually they changed the call there. We didn't go to that enough, and one of the things I kind of want to talk about a little bit later when I'm talking about Casper is how good actually he is on ball. Like, with some pretty solid stuff. And Sean Bruce as well, just quietly, not really offensively playing that well, but actually defensively has been really good. I think I've got a couple of clips coming up later. Hopefully going to do a little bit more on that. That's a nice spin from Humpheries there. There's not much you can really do. We don't have an elite shot blocker. That just lazy. And he's rolling here. I think he's got 14 points. Have a look at this shot chart. Basically everything inside. A couple of those were on our guards as well. So I think we let him get free. We let him get loose. And ultimately, here, man, there's a lot of contact there. It was a good defensive play. But ultimately, we let him get loose. And you can see here, pushing it in transition. And there, look, that's just clearly a foul. Like, he's going backwards. All right, Bruce initiates that. But how many other guards?
Oh, wow. Ran out of room.
You hear Casper sort of say, oh, wow, there. Because that was foul as well. He could be on 3 fouls right now. So, we're down, We're down 11. Now we're down. That was lazy again. There's a real chance that he could have sat here with 3 fouls. And then suddenly, it's a 12. I think he's on 14 points, was it, before? It's a 14-point night. And he's, sitting for a lot of it. Sitting for a lot of this second and maybe in the third quarter, and it kind of tallies up to later. Like, we'll go through a few more of these clips. There's a lot of contact on some of these drives, and I think if you had to call the game, in a tight manner, I guess the crumb of comfort is basically that the refs didn't really call anything in the second or third. It kind of got so out of hand that they just weren't making any calls at all, and I got to admit, it kind of allowed us to get back into the game a little bit. We're allowed to be a little bit more physical, and that physicality kind of translated into a little bit of pressure on Adelaide, and ultimately, got the score all the way back to, I think it was only 5 points in the end. Brad Newell again charged, and a lot of contact there. It goes through a lot of contact, and Brad Newell is a strong man. Most of the time, if you rewatch his attacks on the basket, they're fouls. This is what I was talking about. DJC turns, goes over his left shoulder, and that's a bucket. He's not as comfortable on the strong side, going over his left. Going over his right on the strong side. He's actually not as strong as that. DJ here rushing in, another array of floaters. I almost could probably put another segment here. DJ's offensive game and how good it was, because it was great. That's a nice little entry pass, and Jarrell finishing underneath. But ultimately, I do want to talk about Casper a little bit later. We'll get to that and the need for speed. See here, it's a little bit of slow transition. It was actually a nice block from Galloway. He gave us some pretty good minutes. It was a nice piece of defensive work, and then we kind of slow transition, put it in the bucket. That was kind of Adelaide's Achilles heel. You see here, Sloaney boy, I think it's on Woodhill, going all the way downhill. Woodhill gets the block, and then wow, Woodhill, that's pretty nice. And have a look at this, just a blatant foul, like, you know, wrapped all the way on the shoulder, all the way down the arm. And I'll show you a little replay of that. Just how, look at the ref, he's underneath. How did he not see this? Like, he gets him so far up high. Like, okay, it's a decent rip down. He gets him on the arm, on the forearm. Also gets a little bit of DJ's right arm as well. And the referee, he's the one trailing in the slot. How did he not see that? I don't understand how you missed that call. But ultimately, it ended the quarter for us with a Casper chuck, and this was nice. And then again, there's a lot of contact here. You got Giddy getting newly on the arm. You got some body contact of dudes. You know, Giddy's probably not going straight up. Isaac Humpheries is probably going straight up, but you know, that could have resulted in another foul for Humpheries. You know, if Newley goes stronger and goes through guys there, maybe Humpheries gets a foul there. But ultimately, I think he's only had one foul here, and so you're looking at an entirely different game. If Humpheries has foul trouble in here, what are we down? We've brought it down back to 7. We've actually pushed him off the spot there, which was pretty good defense. So you look at how good Humpheries' game was, and there, another foul. Like, how is that not a foul? You have a look at this. Humpheries has actually got his arm up. Like, yep, I fouled him. And then, oh, no, I didn't. No, it wasn't a foul. So that, again, was that 4? That was a beautiful pocket pass from Giddy. There's not much we can really do about that. And that could have been, you know, 4 fouls, 5 fouls even. It could have been. There's a possibility. And that's some more pretty terrible defense. So this stuff's in here because I wanted to highlight, you know, he just backs into Newley, almost falls over, dives on his legs. The referees kind of just weren't really calling anything. And then, as you can see here again, Jarrell Martin pushing Humpheries off the spot. That's one of the big things we'll go through in the second game is the physicality. And again, so much contact. You watch this. I think I've got a replay. And okay, yeah, Casper maybe doesn't get those calls. You know, goes into the guy's body, doesn't get that call, and finally we get his second foul. And that could easily have been 6 or 7 fouls by now. That's just crazy way they were calling the game. Whoa, Giddy with an air ball there. There are actually a few air balls in this game. This first game. I think there was 2 air balls in the first game, and there might have been 1 or 2 even in the second. We might have a look at those. But you can have a look at our post defense here, and then as a nice sort of dish off, we get the ball off the rim. That kind of looked like it might have been, I think, off on the rim. Actually, not allowed to contest the ball. I think if it's bouncing off the rim, again, another, like, a lot of contact there. That could have been 8, number 8 for Humpheries. Like, you know, you just never know if they'll call in the game like a little bit more strictness. That kind of look like a travel. Brad Newley, call it corner Brad's best Brad. Like, I watch Cotton play, and Bryce Cotton gets these calls all the time. Like, he had another 3-point shooting foul the other night that was basically the softest contact you will see. That was nice defense from Casper. We'll talk about his on-ball defense because I think he's actually picked it up this year. There's another sort of bit of a dodgy screen there from Humpheries. Like a bit rusty there. Possibly. 9 maybe? 9? No. It's getting a bit silly now. So going through some more of these clips, this offensive stuff. This was Casper's first 3. Finally gets one to go. I think it was his first 3. I didn't put the clip in. It's first three we've seen. Casper out of the corner now. It's not really his shot to go out of the corner, but that's a nice dime to Sean Bruce, and that's his shot. That wing 3 is definitely Sean Bruce's shot, and he hasn't shot enough of those this year. We're in the 4th now. We're down 10. We're bringing it all the way back. You know, a lot of this full court press stuff, a lot of the pressure here, you know, that was really good defense. You know, almost forced a turnover. You know, DJ probably could have just dimed up Humpheries there, but they're trying to slow the game down a little bit. We're only down 10. A lot of the high pressure actually kind of threw Adelaide off their game. And I want to just say, like, Adelaide kind of crumbled. And I didn't see, like, if I had gone through and done a little bit more of this analysis, we might have seen that Adelaide kind of crumbled pretty badly in this 4th quarter. There's, you know, great on-ball defense from Casper there, getting the steal. And kind of set a little bit of a tone, like, not really, you know, it didn't tell us the entire scope of what Adelaide would do in that second game. But I kind of missed that. Wow, they kind of crumbled pretty badly in this game. That was another pocket pass kind of gone awry. That easily could have been a nice dime. But yes, it's a 7-point lead here, and some of the things we're doing is basically being how much contact was that? Being a little bit more physical. Beautiful cut from Newley. I love that baseline cut from Newley. His gravity in the corner. You probably don't leave him in the corner, but essentially you don't let him cut like that. He'll finish that every time. Another push up high, and then that leaves basically Humpheries under the basket. Little gimme two there, and that was well found by Sunday Detch, who's having a pretty good season too here. Another look at some of Sean Bruce's on ball. Gets a tip pass. He'll get a few 2K teammate grade there for that little tip pass. Basically on ball, forcing Josh Giddey on ball to make decisions, to travel there, and he's very, very skilled, but he's a 6'8" guy, and if you put him under a bit of pressure, he kind of struggles dribbling the ball. I've seen it a little bit. Casper again with the floater, a lot of contact there on the landing. It was Humpheries again. Maybe that's number 9, number 10 for the game. Bryce Cotton, I've seen get those fouls, but we're harping on about that. It was nice pressure up again from Sean Bruce. Gets the layup, an easy layup from his own work. More pressure up high again. It's a 3-point game with 3 minutes to go. Like, really, Adelaide to come all the way back. I think it was a 19-point lead or 20-point lead even at one point there, to come all the way back. But then Sunday Detch, have a look at this here, kind of, off of the help of Humpheries, is able to lay the ball in. He had a couple of sort of line drive lay-ins that kind of hurt us at the end of that game. It's a 5-point lead now, and I think we go to a Casper, and that's a foul. Like, how is that not a foul? Bryce Cotton, how many 3-point fouls has he got this season? Casper can't buy a single thing there. And again, more high ball pressure. DJ doesn't take that shot. Giddey again, that's a beautiful drive and dime. And we're not going to see Humpheries dunk that. No thanks. So I think ultimately we got a lot closer than this game should have really let us. It was a lot of Hyde pressure, Hyde trapping. It's a 7-point lead here, and have a look at this defense, and that is just a clean strip. That was just clean defense. I can't believe they called that. And in the context of what was happening in this game, I can't believe they basically blew the whistle on that. Maybe that little initial contact, okay, but the strip was pretty clean. But ultimately, yeah, we lost that game. So let's move on to this second game now, where we tightened things up. Casper's offense was pretty good. We didn't let Humpheries get going. We're still on the Humpheries topic at the moment. He had the first bucket of the game. We'll see it in a minute. Have a look at this. That's a foul as well. We saw Brad Newley get that early foul in the first game. That was almost identical contact. DJ getting away with a travel there. Have a look at that. Oh, travel. No, not looking at that. The ref, you could see the ref wasn't even looking. He's the guy on the wing. That was a nice block. And again, Hunter into the lineup. Sorry, I'm rushing this. This is a bit frantic. I've got to get this out before today, before the game tonight. You look at Hunter, was a massive reason why Humpheries kind of got shut down. That was his first bucket. And even that was a big, heavy contact having to finish. It was essentially Hunter's sort of hustle and his size that let us sort of, tighten up some of this stuff. You see here, goes in heavy on... heavy, and the adjustment is basically, don't let him spin, don't let him get an angle. He basically went into him and bumped him and made him alter that shot. And if you saw in the first game, there were a couple of times where he altered his shot. That's a nice dime from Sean Bruce. And a lot of contact there under the basket. Again, that's Humpheries possibly. I think DJ was the first one. Humpheries could get his first foul. There's another foul that kind of they let go underneath. And then finally, yeah, he gets his first foul there. It was a clever little play from DJ. I don't like those. Have a look at this second one. That's a foul. I don't understand how they didn't call that. The ref's in the right position. But that's a nice side. Little bit of a decal slip there, maybe. A nice spin from Jarrell. And that was actually really good defense from Humpho. We can't complain about that. It was a nice rip down move. And some of our offense, it's almost 4 minutes into this game. We're kind of struggling to score the ball. Shawnee with a huge launch there. Shawnee Bruce is having to take some, pretty bad shots. We've seen that a couple of times already. Nice step back from Jarrell. One of the other things about Humpheries in this game is we ran him ragged a little bit more. Bumping him, making him make shots, through contact, and also throwing Jarrell Martin at him, basically running him ragged. that was one of the huge things. Took the stuffing out of him a second night of a back-to-back. Basically, no easy post entries. Here again, little juke, step back, beautiful. That's Jarrell's shot. I think he's going to shoot that a lot this year, and he's going to rinse a few power forwards in the league. You see nice physicality from Hunter again. Hunter on Humpho Crime, and pushing the ball all the way downhill. Adelaide, I think, as this game went on, struggled with the pace that we were playing at, and we definitely upped the pace, upped the tempo, made sure that's a beautiful three. Made sure to keep them moving, keep them always pushing hard. They were without Sloan. They were kind of undermanned a little bit. But the more you kind of pressure and be physical on DJ and Humpho, the more we kind of threw them out of their offense. You see here, short, a sign he's a little bit tired, 7 minutes into the first quarter. Casper again with the floater, doesn't quite go down. Check out this hair. This is pretty terrible hair. He's got that Ezekiel from Walking Dead going as a little bit weird, Wonder how long he'll keep that. There was a little bit of backlash as well. Another nice drive and post entry. Jarrell Martin with a foul line jumper. So beautiful defense again from Jarrell Martin. He's going to have a huge impact, pushing the ball again. Craig Moller gets the foul. Brendan Tees, Fitter and Turner, he'll go to his plumbing job in the morning. He got the foul there, but it was essentially our pace in transition. Now have a look at McVeigh here. He gets blocked by Newley. It's a beautiful block. He gets loose again for this three on the wing. As you'll see here, it's a little two-man sort of action on the wing. Brad Newley doesn't cover. It's a decent cover. It's a decent shot cover. But again, pushing the ball. Nice, clever move from Craig Moller there to put the ball on the floor and get Giddy. I think that was his second foul. But yeah, veteran move there from Craig Moller. We see McVeigh here again hit this other three on the wing. It's actually a nice find by Giddy. Is it Giddy? No, I think it's Madronya actually. Tosses, he's on ball here, tosses the ball over to McVeigh. Brad Newler kind of helping inside. I understand that helping inside, but have a look at this. Have a look at this. We see, McVeigh hit the three. No, you can't guard me, mate. He's blocked you once. You've hit two. Nah. And then on the third one down, exactly the same. He just gets blocked. So a little premature head shake there. McVeigh might need to tuck that one back in the pocket. Another quick push, and then another bucket. I think that ended up being a goaltend. But again, look at Humpheries, man. He's blowing. Struggling in that first quarter. I think he played a lot of that first quarter. He's absolutely struggling. You can see, can't get back, struggling to get back. And then even on offense, he's struggling a little bit. Didn't have the same sort of pop that he had. Nice sort of swarm defense there. And ultimately, I think the physicality and the pace really drew Adelaide out of the game. They kind of struggled to really get going. They were lacking that offense. Josh Giddy there's just got to go straight to the hole on the line drive on Casper, and there he tries to get a charge. I think he does get a charge. I don't like that call. It's probably not really a charge, but it's the NBL. We see that a lot, rather than being like, that's not a charge. I don't like that call. Essentially, we've got to eventually just understand that they call those all the time. Sean Bruce, another one of his favorite spots. Not going down. It's a worry, but again, he's defensive. We saw it in the back end of that game. And then I remember texting Andy this and going, that's one that Casper makes, and you kind of go, oh, this is Casper's night. This could be his game here, guys. And look at this, beautiful in rhythm. He loves that pull up. Josh Giddy kind of probably should have got up into him a little bit more. You see that he's not getting 3-point fouls at all, so you should be getting up into Casper this year. They find Humpheries down low, and again, solid contact on Vodanovic, bumps him, and he struggles to put that away. We've seen that already a little bit. And Casper again with a little chalky bank shot. Called bank. The bank's definitely open on a Saturday if your name is Casper Ware. But again, we're looking at Casper's offense here. He doesn't just go back to the three again. He had a little heat check before off glass, and then he goes to a nice pick and roll with Hunter. Giddy, air ball again from Giddy. His offense struggled a little bit, but you saw his prowess in diming guys up. You see again here, I didn't highlight that in the first game, that easy sort of fake DHO where he got to the hoop. That wasn't on this game. We tightened that up. We made sure he didn't get any prowess out of that. Casper again finds Vodanovic in the corner, and right here steps on the line, but that essentially could have made the game a 14-point lead in the second quarter. We could have kind of run away with that. Hey, Dizzy. It's Dizzy Gillespie. What position you think Dizzy might have played? What is he, 6'4"? Power forward maybe? Nah, probably had a too light a frame to play power forward. And again, look at this run out from Brad Newley. Beautiful the pace in transition, pushing the lead again in the second quarter. And again, a nice find to Jekyll down low. Nice bump off there. He gets the foul. A little bit of dodgy contact on there. But again, another foul on Humpheries, being physical with him. Brad Newley again finds Jekyll Martin on the wing. It's that dribble penetration. Jekyll sort of opts out of that for another established post-up. Makes Humpheries work to deny entry. Goes all the way in and hits a beautiful running right-handed hook over his right shoulder. Lovely spin move, making Hunter work.
If it works, do it again.
And then this is 40 saying, if it works, do it again. If it works, do it again. We've seen a couple of times we've gone back to the well on some of these plays and they've worked. And have a look at this. They call a foul. How's it not in the act of shooting? What the hell's that? And old Sloaney boy thinking about his next contract, licking his lips there. Sneaky deckle slip there. And here we go again. Inside on McVeigh, and he's too strong for McVeigh there. That was good to see. Craig Moller being attack-minded, getting right in, pushing the ball right down the throats of Adelaide. You can see they're already blowing. They've brought the score back here. And here's another one of those DJ fades. I think that's going to be his shot this season. You look at just how perfect these are. That's beautiful. It's almost identical over DJ. So yeah, it was a 4-point lead. Adelaide kind of pushed the ball. It was nice defense from Casper. Going into the half, we kind of let them back into it. That was a bit of a dirty play on Adanovic. Again, it's almost the identical play from that toss out of the corner, the drive, and then the toss to the corner. I think it was Vodanovic drove, Newley, and then DJ's kind of wide open. Vasiljevic is wide open there, and that's beautiful on-ball denial. We push the pace again, basically getting out in front of the forwards. Brad Newley in the corner. Doesn't hit this, but Craig Moller crashes the glass because he's got the size advantage on McVeigh. And Tommy V. Crickets. That's where you want one or two. That's beautiful. Beautiful drive offense. Again, the maturity of Casper's offense. Pushing the ball into the teeth of the D. And if you don't help, DJ just ended up on the floor. I didn't see what happened there. And then Tommy V ending the half with a strut because I thought he came up with a couple of decent defensive plays. Even if he had the air ball, kind of deserved the big man walk. The physicality, I don't think really helped Adelaide. We were much more physical, much more in our spots, running Humpheries around there. You see Jekyll come in, baseline, get the ball, nice toss out. Beautiful cut. We're going to analyze this a little bit. You look at Jekyll. He sets up, you see DJ come out from the back, and it's a double screen action, and Sean Bruce beautifully run. We're going to see that actually a couple of times, and you can see it break down when you don't have Sean Bruce, who I think has gotten a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger. We see here again, it's the same play as Casper. It's a little bit late. Crocker kind of got up on DJ a little bit better there, but we went to the same well again, and that's a jumper, kind of peters out into a jumper, which didn't go for Jekyll. But this third quarter is where we did a lot of the damage. Casper again, beautiful entry pass to Jordan Hunter again, and we just pushed the speed. And this is probably one of the best dimes I've seen in a long time. I'm so glad Casper made this shot. It was beautiful form. But have a look at this diving out of bounds, having the thought to toss it all the way across to Casper, who basically knocks it down perfectly in rhythm. Listen to 40
Bring it
here.
up a little bit higher if you want. Now, if we have Geordie setting this on ball, again, you got the freedom to do whatever you want here. You can look to try and set a little hammer screen. If we want to get someone here a shot, you can look to clear out, or you can go all the way to the corner and lift whoever here. So the 4-man, who's a non-screener, virtually has the freedom to do whatever they want.
Hey, come out the same side. I'll take your spot because I'm wide open. Alright, either got the roll or the fucking wide open.
Staying in hedge, good activity.
Yes, and he's 100% correct. Like, we're staying in hedge, we're forcing Adelaide to off their spots, to move around a lot, to basically, not let Humpheries set up in the post. I think this is kind of the play they were talking about. I don't like, Bruce kind of needs to be on the far side, on the strong side with the ball. But he is right. Basically, they kind of left him wide open there. Humphrey gets another. I think that was his second bucket. We had 4 points, and that was his second bucket in the third quarter. A real struggler of a night, but essentially our physicality. And again, we go back to that same play. Casper, it doesn't really have the screening prowess, and it's just Jekyll getting into the post, identifying that the play broke down, and then he finishes over Humpheries again, making Humpheries work some more. Again in the post, Geordie's again. Beautiful defense, and then it forces a charge. And again, using his body. And DJ's a strong little nugget. he's a nuggety little player. I think he's going to get a few of these on-ball situations where he's playing against other guards, like guards that are the same size. It's only when, you know, he gets stuck in the post and on the bigger forwards where you can tell, like, he likes to use his body. He's got good fundamentals defensively, but, you know, he's going to struggle to handle those guys. Brad Newley again, like, it's beautiful, diving out of bounds under pressure, and we push the ball. DJ doesn't get that, and essentially a huge over the back foul there. But essentially pushing Adelaide and making them work. It's a 17-point lead again. Look at DJ struggling barely to get to that loose ball, and Shawnee Bruce gets the foul. It's DJ again. What a motor on DJ, and you know, we saw him blowing in that first game. He had to come out of the game. I think he asked to sub out, but his motor essentially was one of the big things that kept this lead. We were pushing the ball. Actually, the need for speed. We were making sure. That's beautiful defense again. Look, DJ's out again. Shawnee Bruce pushes it out, finds DJ, and he's going to knock this down. No, he's not. He's going to miss that. But again, another great shot. DJ's in the right spot. McVeigh bringing it up. We've got Sunday Detch here. You know, not much movement from Adelaide here. They're trying to set up Humpheries in the post. I think it's on Vodanovic. And then he tries to go baseline and, you know, just steps out of bounds. He was not having a good night. There's a lot of shots of him just walking up court like this, like, I'm blowing, boys. So it was good to see us really kind of work him physically and work Adelaide physically. Like, we kind of applied a little bit of pressure to him, and oof, they folded. That's a nice entry, a nice dime from Sean Bruce. He had a lot of dimes in this second game. Craig Moller with a good finish. But basically put a little bit of pressure on Adelaide and they crumbled. It was a little bit of physicality and, you know, some hedge pressure, some physicality, and they didn't like it there. Maybe another foul there for Casper. I mean, we're up. What are we up? 14 at the moment. You know, maybe we don't need to complain about fouls here, but that kind of could have been a foul. And have a look at this. That was beautiful in the fourth, to start the fourth. Newley just piling on the pressure here. The lead's 15. We didn't allow them to get back in it with just easy buckets. We just go, hey, you know, Humpheries can get going here. Casper hits that 3, and you're kind of like, uh-oh, Casper's hitting 3s. You know, like the first one he hit, you get the same feeling of just, uh-oh, Casper's hitting 3s. DJ in the corner, extending the lead out. Essentially, if you look at some of this offense, what a bomb from Casper. Just what a bomb that is. So demoralizing. It's an 18-point lead at this point, and again, nothing on the entry. Beautiful defense. Have a look at it. Like, have a look at that decal. Like that. Look, you can physically see that coming up off the court. Like, we got to sort that out. Guys are going to fall over. Beautiful block on Humpheries there. Couldn't get anything going. Craig Muller again. This is that same action. You see DJ come around like, whoop, the play's broken down, and then he gets a foul. You know, another sort of 40 thing. I like this. Of like, if it works, keep going back to it. Make sure you keep doing it if it works. It's a huge thing that if we can get some continuity in our play and really get some momentum. And I think this was more, I think, the wave, the high screen, where Jarrell comes out and shoots the 3. You see Geordie's down low. He's not a shooting threat. But have a look at this. Again, a little shove there. No, is Casper going to get any fouls ever? No, he just doesn't get fouls. You know, what did we get? 1 in the first quarter. I think we got 1. The first quarter of the first game, I think we got 1 in one of these other games. And hey, finally he gets a foul. But have a look at some of these 3s. Casper in rhythm. That was the first one, I think. And this was a nice dime. And again, if it's a smorgasbord offense, I think Casper's going to get a lot more gravity, and he's going to use that gravity to create more smorgasbord offense, and I think he's going to get more 3s. I love that pass from Newley. He just fired it straight back out to him. These size up 3s, the little jitterbug 3s, they're not my favorite. They're great when they go down, but when they aren't going down, it's not great. And you see he's checking out of the game, and that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all we've got to talk about, because it was a great performance in that fourth quarter. We really just kept that lead up, and I think if we can play games this year where we can keep a lead up, keep the team running with that speed, because we've got to have the need for speed, and we've got to make sure we push these teams and push them back and physically keep those leads, because it looks like we've got the team to do it. I didn't see any of those guys out there kind of struggling for fitness. You know, you've seen Jarrell struggling the first couple of games. It looks like he's starting to get his legs under him. And then I think it makes Casper a better player. You're pushing the opposition back. the gravity is allowing him to kind of, get his pull-up threes, get his sort of walk-up threes, bring guys up high, run them into the ground, and make sure, he comes off and he's got a few options. He can toss it out once he gets that gravity going, shoot the ball, toss it out, and make sure he dimes up guys, and we keep that scoring push up. And then defensively, it looked like a little bit more physical. We worked harder. We made sure to not let Humpheries get into it. You saw Hunter in that second game. He was the guy. There was a lot of scram switches, making sure that the guard action down low wasn't there again. We saw that I think twice in the first game. In the second game, I don't think we even saw it. It could have actually happened, I think, once, but I don't think I put the clip in. But ultimately, more physicality, more guys knowing their role, more cohesiveness on offense, and I think Casper's a huge part of that. He needs to kind of get that smorgasbord going rather than him just being an all-out scorer. And on ball too, we saw some good on ball from Shawnee Bruce, some good on ball from Casper, and a lot of promising stuff. It was a little bit doom and gloom after that first Adelaide game. We were just like, oh no. Are we gonna turn this around? I didn't see really anything physically, but there was a little undercurrent there of just Adelaide. Once you kind of gave them a gut punch, they really struggled to come back from that, and we gave them that gut punch in the second game, and we were able to take the win and kind of kickstart our season. We've got that game against New Zealand Breakers tonight. If you're watching that today, right before the game, if you're watching that game today, it'd be interesting to see how we play against the Breakers, because the Breakers haven't been doing too well, and I think they've got a few key spots to exploit. That some of this stuff in this game actually has a nice synchronicity to. We can actually dial up offense. I think they're going to struggle down low. We'll get Jekyll in there scoring the ball, and we'll get Casper some nice easy shots, and our defense will carry us all the way through. Now, thank you everyone for watching. Sorry this was a long one. It was I could have gone the entire hour. I'm thinking about, actually, if you've gotten this far, I'm also thinking about doing a live stream where I break down some of this stuff. I find that as I'm editing, as I'm going through it, I'm actually coming up with gems, coming up with interesting things to talk about, and then it comes to me having to record over the top of it. I'm rushing it, there's things happening here and there, and then I'm having to I'm missing stuff. So I might think about, while I'm editing, doing our live stream. Let us know in the comments down below if you're watching this. You might watch something like that, and as always, like, share and subscribe, and we will see you guys next time on the King's Dime.